In this webinar, we're actually going to introduce you to programs that you may not be familiar with. I want to try an exercise, and I'm not too sure how successful this will be. But if you know about YSP, could you all just raise your hand? If you've heard about YSP, if you know of Young Scholars Program, if you could all just raise your hand, and it'd be really nice to get some context about the audience. Slowly and steadily, I can see the hands raising. The reason why I'm starting off with asking this question is because with a lot of the pointers that were mentioned as the motivating factors for joining today were either around, I missed the YSP deadline and is there any way for me to be able to submit for this year? Or it's to consider, can I actually start preparing for YSP 2027 now onwards and start figuring out how to make the decision as to which program to choose in 27? Or is it that or it's also that some of the peers actually suggested the programs to you and you want to get to know more about it. I do want to clear things off right off the bat. YSV applications for 2026 are currently closed. Our cohorts are closed. We can't accommodate any applications anymore. But fret not, there are two programs that we do have applications open for, and that's exactly what we want to speak to you about. I can see a common theme where students have an interest in economics and in entrepreneurship and policy, society, and international affairs as well. So I'm actually quite happy to introduce some of the programs that we have in our catalog today because they are right up the alley of the students that you've mentioned. I'm going to start off with introducing Horizons Achievers program. So Ashoka Horizons Achievers program is an online program that allows students to be able to join from anywhere across the world. We've had students joining in from Ethiopia, from the UK, from US, and we've also had faculty joining us from all the way across the world. So we have faculty who's joined us from Virginia Tech, from Yale University, and they're going to be taking the courses this year. In this online program, students actually get to engage with the faculty and teaching fellow over a month on weekends only because we're very conscious of the fact that students have really busy schedules even during summer vacations. Over these weekends, they can actually dive deep into a subject of their choice. And it's not going to be passive learning where you're just listening to lectures online, something similar to what we're seeing happen in this webinar, but more similar to what we did in the beginning of this webinar, which is dialogic in nature. You actually work on a capstone project, which you end up presenting towards the end. So you walk away with something tangible that you can add on to your resume and CV as well. There are some of the students who have gone on to work with the faculty, even post the course, to expand upon their projects. As you can see here, we have two editions that we're offering this summer. Edition 1 is in May and June, and edition 2 is in June and July, taking into account that the board exam schedule for this year is very varied. Some of them are going into their board exams, while some of them have just gone out of it. So taking that into account, these dates should be able to suit the students who are interested in the programs. We're doing courses across 5 major disciplines, which is psychology, computer science and data science, economics, business and entrepreneurship, and biosciences. So for all the people who were actually interested in the economics and finance course, especially EFM that you'd seen in YSP, I would really recommend looking at economics, strategic decisions, and game theory, where we have Professor Sudipta joining us from Virginia Tech, or the econometrics course, where Professor Parush will be taking the lessons. He's also the faculty who will be joining us at YSP as well. So in some ways, you get a taster of YSP beforehand, but in a deeper model. We also have courses on business and entrepreneurship, as you can see, Founders Playbook and business strategies for future leaders. These two courses are designed to be complementary. So if one person does a course and learns how to shape their idea into a future unicorn, business strategies for future leaders can help you in making a sustainable business model so that it's not just a one-time wonder. So these are some of the courses that are on offer, and we'll be happy to share our website link in the chat box as well so that you can explore more at your own accord. But I'd like to share a bit more about the features of the program. In order to make it more interactive and to make sure that the learning extends beyond the program as well, we offer extended opportunities to the top performing students in the courses. They can take the form of internships where they're actually joining corporate offices, or mentorships where they're actually interacting with PhD students and learning how ethical research can be conducted. We've also had students come to campus and have an immersive lab experience for 2 to 3 days where they engaged in experiments, spoke to PhD students, spoke to the faculty members present as well. One of the photos that you can see here is actually one of the students standing with their faculty members of biosciences department. We've also had a collaboration with Springer Nature last year where students actually won coupons to Springer Nature and access to books through that. So in a lot of ways, the learning doesn't really come to an end when you are finishing the program. This program is also certified by Ashoka University. So once you're done with the program, you actually walk away with a certificate that actually adds to your profile, where you can showcase that this is a course that I was quite interested in. This was a discipline that I wanted to build my interest in early on, and that this is one of the steps that I've undertaken. Students also end up building connections with faculty and teaching fellows that end up lasting for much longer and end up getting a lot of guidance for their future careers as well. So far, we have been getting the highest industry ratings. And we also have one of the alumni joining us today who will actually speak more about the experience. So I'm not going to stay on this slide for too long. I'm actually going to let our live alumni testimony come to life. But that's something that we'll come back to in about 20 to 30 minutes. So Sanjana, please stay prepared. I also just want to stay on this slide for a little moment so that you can get to know about the varied experiences that students have had. One thing that a parent said that has really stuck with me was that they were anticipating that they would really have to nag their child to attend the classes. But what they were surprised to see is that the child themselves was getting ready at 10 itself for 11 o'clock lecture because they wanted to do some revision beforehand. And they were staying up till 12 midnight to work on the projects because they were interacting with students that they met during the course. And I think that's something that really stuck with me, that it's an experience that ends up being so palpable, even though they're joining online. So instead of it being something that's actually disadvantaging them, it becomes a cord that's actually connecting them across cities. They love getting to know about each other's cultures and actually getting to know a diverse cohort. So this is all about Ashoka Horizons Achievers program. Our Edition 1 courses are going to have the deadline on May 17th. So if you've missed one deadline, which is for YSP, I would really recommend not missing this one. And for Edition 2, we have the deadline on June 7th. But we do recommend applying early because as soon as the seats fill out for a course, we end up having to shut the cohorts. And I know that some of you who are present here have had to receive that email from YSB. So really do avoid it from Ashoka Horizons Achievers program. I'm now going to pass the mic to Monisha to introduce the learning sprints, which is a very exciting new model that we're running this year. So all over to you, Monisha.
Thank you so much, Isha. I think that was a very, very exciting introduction to the Ashoka Horizons Achievers program. And of course, we will be open to your questions, your doubts in a little bit of time. But before that, we also wanted to talk to you about our newest offering. So, for the very, very first time, the Young Scholars Program is going to be visiting two cities. So, this year we are going to be in Kolkata and Chennai this summer. In Kolkata, we have a very exciting program. But before I get to the detail of the program, I want to spend a little bit of time on the mode because that's going to be a little different from YSP on campus, the one that we have in our Sonipat campus. For Kolkata and Chennai, it's going to be a 3-day program. Of course, like all our other programs, it's going to be certified. So Ashoka University's certificate is going to be there. But this is a city-based program, which means that it's largely going to be a day scholar program. It's not going to be a residential program, but other than that, the learning is going to be accelerated. It's going to be experiential, which is how all our programs are. And in Kolkata, the program is going to be in I think the hottest topic that we are all discussing all the time, which is artificial intelligence. AI, as we know, is sort of evolving in leaps and bounds. I think every day the AI landscape seems to be changing every day. But this program tries to introduce students to some of the core concepts in AI. It tries to cut through the noise, cut through the public perceptions of AI that we sort of get to hear all the time, all around us. And like all our other programs, it's going to be open to students entering grades 9 to 12 across all boards. And in Kolkata, it's going to be held in Modern High School International, Baliganj, from 4th to 6th June. Given that it's going to be a day scholar format, students would be expected to reach the school by 9 a.m. and sessions would conclude around 5:30 in the evening. This is the sample schedule that we also have up on our website. The name of the program is Artificial Intelligence, Applications, Impact, and Society. We have two professors, two Ashoka University professors who teach at the Department of Computer Science, largely leading this program. We have Professor Lipika De. So before she joined Ashoka University as Professor of Computer Science, she was actually Chief Scientist at TCS. And she was leading the research on economic and financial intelligence. Her areas of intelligence are, her areas of specialization are artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and data analytics. Moving on, we also have Professor Anirban Sen, also a teaching faculty at the computer science department here at Ashoka University. Prior to joining Ashoka, he was a postdoctoral researcher at Microsoft Research India, and he majorly worked on technology for emerging markets. But very, very excitingly, we have recent confirmations on Mr. Pratik Khurana also joining. And this is very, very new. He's actually the Agentic Solutions Manager at YouTube Global. And he would be talking to students about his experience of working in the field of applied AI. So together we have a very, very exciting lineup. And these 3 days are going to be quite thrilling. And we look forward to receiving applications for YSP Kolkata Learning Sprint. If you go on the website, you will be able to, yes, thanks, Virat. I think the website is there on the chat right now. You'll be able to see the application button. The applications are now open with the deadline being May 17th. Yeah, I see some hands raised, but I'm just going to take 5 more minutes of your time and walk you through the Chennai Learning Sprint, and then we'll open the floor for discussion and questions. So just like Kolkata, Chennai is also going to be a 3-day long program, certified city-based accelerated and experiential learning program. But in Chennai, it's going to be in the domain of economics and finance. So for all of you who are interested in an EcoFin program, this could be a very, very good option. Virat, if we could just go back to the previous slide. Virat, we are moving ahead. If we could go back, yeah. Yes, yes, thank you. So in Chennai, it's going to, the venue is Sishya School in Adyar, and the dates are 29th to 31st May. The mode, as you can see, remains the same as that of Kolkata. It's going to be a day scholar format. Students are similarly expected to be present on campus by 9 a.m. and sessions are expected to conclude by 5:30 p.m. on all 3 days. Yes, this is again the sample schedule that we have, also something that you can find on the website. And for Chennai, we have 3 faculties. We have Professor Prachi Mishra, we have Ms. Dipali Singh, and Mr. Vijay Singh Chauhan. Uh, Virat, if we could move on. So, Professor Prachi Mishra, she's professor of economics at Ashoka University. She's also the director and head of the Isaac Center for Public Policy at Ashoka. Previously, she has held senior roles at IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund. She has also served as the managing director at Goldman Sachs and specialist advisor and head of strategic research unit at the Reserve Bank of India. She has also worked with the government of India in the Ministry of Finance and on the PM's Economic Advisory Council. Next, we have Ms. Dipali Singh. She is visiting faculty at the Department of Entrepreneurship at Ashoka University. She's also the founder and CEO of the Wall Street Wiz. She has an MBA from the Wharton School and has previously worked at Credit Suisse and JP Morgan and Standard and Poor's. She largely specializes in investment banking, valuation, and financial modeling. Last but not the least, we have Mr. Vijay Singh Chauhan. He is senior fellow at the Isaac Center for Public Policy at Ashoka University. He's also an international consultant with the Asian Development Bank. He was an IRS officer before this, and he has held key positions in the government of India, including Director of Budget, Director of FIPB, FM Office, and he has also served as Executive Director at Deloitte India. So these are the two learning sprints in the day scholar model that we have this year. The application process is pretty simple. If you encounter any problem whatsoever, this is our website, and that Virat has shared on chat. But this is our email address. With applications closing on May 10, this would be the perfect time to apply. So with that, I think we can take the questions, Isha.
Yes, we should be.
Yes.
So, firstly, thank you all of you for listening to us introduce the three programs that we have in store for you. And I can see that you already have questions in place. So let me just stop sharing my screen so that we can start taking the questions one by one. So one of the first questions that we saw was actually about Horizons Achievers program and how is it different from Young Scholars program. On first look, I think the most obvious difference would be that the Young Scholars program is happening on campus. So you're coming to Sonipat and experiencing the Ashoka University life, whereas the Horizons Achievers program is happening online. However, I'm also tempted to say that you're still experiencing the Ashoka University pedagogy while joining online, because you actually get to experience what one semester may look like or what the learning journey can look like from an interdisciplinary perspective. It also helps you in connecting some of the dots of how you can apply your learning in the real world through the capstone project. So in some ways, that's one of the primary differences. A second difference that I would highlight is that with YSP, you get larger disciplinary offerings where you're seeing multiple disciplines being covered under one program. Whereas in Horizons Achievers program, it's going to be more focused on one particular course. So it's going to be either that you're interested in biosciences and doing that particular course, or business and entrepreneurship and founders playbook. So it's going to be that you're going in depth into one particular topic of your interest in the summer. I hope that answers your question. In case you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to put that up. Now I'm going to try to trace back if there was another question that did come up earlier. I do want to clarify this webinar is about Ashoka University's summer programs that do have their applications open right now. YSP unfortunately has their applications closed. There are no exceptions and accommodations that can be made at the moment. In case you're in conversation with the team, they'll be getting back to you within 1 to 2 working days for sure. I can see Aditi has raised their hand. Please feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So this was regarding the Horizons program. So what I read online that it's a 30 hours program, over whatever 2 months. So does that also include these 30 hours includes the project that they're supposed to do, or that is excluding?
So it's including the project. It's 30 hours over 1 month. They're doing live sessions over the weekends, and they also have office hours with the teaching fellow based on their own convenience during the week. And they also end up having to do some amount of self-study. I can promise you it's much lower than the expected hours for school, but some amount of self-study to be able to complete their projects. It does, these 30 hours do not include the extended opportunity though. So in case the student performs really well and ends up getting the extended opportunity, they'll be getting more hours of learning. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
No worries. I'm just scrolling through the chat box and I can see one question that we have for any programs planned in Bangalore in the pipeline for economics and finance. Monisha, if you want to shed some light on our plans.
I think nothing in Bangalore this year. But thank you actually for showing the interest. And maybe that's something that we keep in mind for the next years to come. But right now, we have two programs in two different cities, Kolkata and Chennai.
On
We
that note, I do
also,
want to share that I think I've heard that the flights from Bangalore to Chennai are pretty cheap. So, in case someone wants to experience the learning sprint within this year itself, though hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be expanding to more cities as and when you show interest.
Yeah,
that's
thanks,
true.
Isha. Just that, it happened to be the first day of school on June 1st, and we are just trying to see how we can make it. So, is there anything that comes in next couple of months? We would love to hear, but still, we'll try to make it for the Chennai batch.
Okay, that's lovely to hear.
That
Yeah.
would be quite exciting. I'm hoping that you're able to make it.
Yes.
Ma'am, one query here.
Yes.
It's regarding the young program, Ashoka Young program. So can you please make it clear? Actually, I have filled the registration form, but yet I am unable to make the payment. So can you tell me how to contact them?
If you're talking about the Young Scholars Program, then our applications are currently closed. Our cohort is closed, so we can't accommodate any more students. In case you're speaking of any other program, then we do have some scope of acceptance. So if you could just send to me on chat box which program you've applied for, some details of the same, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. I will do that. But the process has been completed of the registration form. Yet I didn't receive any
Which program may I
intimation, the confirmation from your side. It was the program of the entrepreneurship EBL program, the 5 days. From that is May 18 to 22, Young Scholar program.
Yes, I think as my colleague Isha just said, we have closed applications and our cohorts are also finalized. So unfortunately, we won't be able to accept any more applications
No,
this
ma'am,
year.
it had been done already on the last day. What was the last day of the
I
acceptance? I did that.
understand, but I think so what happens is our cohorts get filled up on a rolling basis. And I think what happened was by the time you tried to make the payment, the cohort was already filled. Um,
So
so I
can I go
think
for
that is
any other plan? Any other or either the addition two? Can I apply for that now?
no.
No, ma'am, it is in the
Un
June actually, so it is
I
quite late.
I understand, but we applications for both May and June are closed by now.
So could you tell me if any other application is open for the scholar program?
No, why? Yeah, Isha, go ahead. You were about to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that the Young Scholars program that's happening on campus has their applications closed. We have our cohorts finalized, so unfortunately, no applications can be entertained at this point. However, as we mentioned in the first 30 minutes of this session, we do have three other programs that have their applications open. So we have Horizons Achievers program and the Learning Sprints happening in Kolkata and Chennai. So that's something that students can look into.
Okay, sure, ma'am. I think that is online completely.
Yes. The
Yeah.
offline component sometimes comes into place once they get the extended opportunity because we've had students come on campus.
Okay, right, ma'am. Fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I
Isha,
do want to clarify one thing that the Horizons Achievers program is online, but the learning sprints are in person. So the two programs that are happening in Kolkata and Chennai are going to be in-person programs, but they're not going to be residential programs. They're going to be day scholar programs.
Fine, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Shri, you were
yeah.
about to say something.
So I did apply for the May 18th to 22nd batch, but I know I was a bit late, last minute rather. But how does this selection works? Is it first come, first out, or is it a criteria? How does that work,
No,
Manish?
we have criteria in place. So we look at the last 2 years of the academic performance. We look at the co-curricular interests and achievements of the student, and there is an essay that they need to complete, a 250-word essay. So that essay is also evaluated. So for the Young Scholars program, whether on campus or whether it's for the learning sprints this year, these are the three components, these are the three criteria that we take into consideration.
Okay, if I have to more about why not, is there any way that I should know? The reason is I know the grades were good and he is a, state level achiever in the co-curricular. He is a soccer player, but still, I just wanted to see what's the gap. At least he should not miss out a chance, my child. So, is there any way that I'll get to understand?
Um,
I, yeah, Isha, go ahead.
Monisha, if I could just step in because I
Yeah.
see we are getting a lot of queries about YSP, and I do want to clarify this in one go. While we do have criteria in place, we also have an early application deadline and a final application deadline. So it ends up being that we're doing enrollments on a rolling basis. Once the classes get full, even if we have an excellent candidate, we can't really accept them because our classes are full. So in case your application was rejected because you applied on the last day, it may just be because the cohorts were full. It may not be that the application itself was lacking.
Okay, so it is like it is always on the first 1 or 2 days I should get it filled. That's also one of the mandate, right? Yeah.
It's not the first 2 days because we did we open our applications in December, and then we have our early application deadlines usually in March, and then the final application deadline in April. So as and when the months flow, we end up having more people. And I'm really sorry, but I may have to move on to the next question just in the interest of time, if that's
Sure.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can see that there was one question about whether there are capstone projects only in Horizons Achievers program or in YSP as well. So capstone projects as an entity exist mostly in Horizons Achievers program because you're doing an extended long-term academic engagement with us. For example, if a student is doing a course in biosciences, there are 4 modules that they're covering over the 4 weekends, and they build upon each other for you to be able to create your project. You also have project sessions with your teaching fellow who's actually mentoring you and helping you in creating them. And at the end, you have the demo day where you present your project as well. So that's something that's available in Horizons Achievers program. In YSP, you are actually using the 5 to 10 days to be able to explore more things under the umbrella of that discipline. And in some of the programs, you do actually do hands-on activities and experiments as well, for example, in IST and TDCS. But more importantly, and I think this is the most exciting bit in learning sprints, you kind of get a best of both because you're doing a capstone project as well, but you're also exploring some of the different things that come under the umbrella of economics and finance or AI and its applications in both Chennai and Kolkata, respectively. Then I can see an option for whether there are any scholarship options available. So we did have scholarship options available for Horizons Achievers program, but they usually close on early in March. The process usually involves getting in touch with your school and your counselor and is need plus merit based. We also did have a challenge through which we get merit scholarships, but right now no scholarship options would be available. Moving on to the next question. We seem to have a question about whether there are any online programs in economics and finance. So with this, I'm just going to take a moment to share my screen again so that I can share the catalog for Horizons Achievers program. If you're interested in economics and finance, we do have two programs that are in offer for you. So you can either do strategic decisions and game theory, which is an addition one course. May 23rd to June 14th would be your commitments, and it would only be the Saturdays and Sundays that you would have your classes. Or you can look into econometrics, which is actually going to be more about data modeling, and you get to learn the R language as well, which is proven to be very relevant in economics in today's time. All right. I will now move on to the next question. Then better no, seems to be a question about YSP being on a rolling basis, not have a shorter window. That's why we try to keep it closer to 5 to 6 months by opening applications as early as we can. I think this year we did it on 30th of November, didn't we?
1st December.
1st December.
1st
So we do.
December to 26th April was the window, which we don't think is a small window. It's almost a 5-month window. Yeah.
So I think the best thing that we can do at this stage is be like some of the parents who are preparing for 2027 already. You may not be too far behind because we'll be opening applications really soon in a couple of months as well. There's another question about can students of 12th grade after completing their boards apply for YSP, but will be starting college after summer next year, as I know this program is closed for this year. Yes, you can apply for YSP as long as you're not in college yet. So if you've taken a drop year, you can still apply for YSP, which also applies for Horizons Achievers program and the Learning Sprints. So both of them would, all 3 or 4 of those options would be available. I'm now going to move on to the Q&A box. So we've answered the 2 questions that were there in the top. Just one second. There was a question which I really personally like, which is about what is the difference in terms of curriculum between the 2 programs. I did want to ask whether this is in regards to Ashoka Horizons Achievers program or the Learning Sprints.
This is between I have actually been admitted to YSP EFM Advanced for Edition 2. So I was just confused that after coming from Edition 2, after coming back from there, should I pursue with the economics, the econometrics part with this for this Horizons program? Would it still be beneficial for me as it would it have some things that I have not covered in the physical program?
That's an excellent question, and I'm going to answer that with an anecdote. So we had YSP and HAP happen last summer as well in 2025. And we had a professor called Professor Arpita Das who did sessions across multiple programs on critical thinking and the importance of writing this year. And then in the winter cycle, we decided to do a program with Professor Arpita Das in Horizons Achievers program. Surprise, surprise, we had multiple students who had attended YSP and done a session with Professor Arpita Das joining us in the winter cycle. Now, some of the motivations that they had in place was that they enjoyed her 1 hour long session so much that they wanted to engage with her for over 18 hours. Secondly, it allowed for them to get personalized mentorship, which can be a little challenging with the higher cohort sizes in ISB. However, you do end up doing a lot of peer learning. So the pros and cons for both the programs end up being in differential directions. If you were to do econometrics right after EFM, it would be similar to another student's journey that participated in YSP in 2024, did an economics-based YSP program, and then did econometrics last year because she actually wanted to sharpen her data and decision-making skills. So it's actually a really common thing. The difference in curriculum ends up being that you're going to have a fixed module in which you're actually building towards a particular project in HAP. You also get some in-depth knowledge because you're engaging with one particular discipline for a longer period of time. Whereas in YSP, you're going to be getting exposed to so many new ideas and concepts on a regular basis. So that ends up being kind of a difference. And it fits into the T model of education where you can see that you'll get exposed to a breadth of learning in YSP and you'll get exposed to a depth of learning in HAP. So if you do both of them together, I think that can get really well combined, especially the suggestion that you had about EFM and then econometrics, because I can promise you, you're going to see Professor Parush in the EFM as well.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Isha, there was another question in the Q&A panel.
Yes, I'm just seeing some seem to.
Disha was asking, is there any option for a student
student.
to attend both editions of the Ashoka Horizons Achievers program?
Yes, there is. That is precisely why we tried to plan smart and not have any overlapping days. So last year we had 15 courses that were running parallelly, and we had so many lamenting students that couldn't attend the other classes. That's why we precisely decided to split the programs into two editions. We've also tried to look at it in such a way that they are complementary. So if someone is interested in computer science and data science and wants to build a really strong profile for it, they can actually study under Professor Alok in edition one, and then engage with Professor Harsh and Professor Brahmer from Yale in edition two. So in these ways, you can actually do complementary learning across 2 months, and you would be walking away with two capstone projects, two certificates of completion, and hopefully two letters of acknowledgement as well if you perform well. Yeah, are there scholarships? If yes, what is the maximum amount covered? What is the basis of it? So this is a question that I'd answered a little bit earlier as well. We do have scholarships in place. The process is a little different for Horizon Achievers program as compared to YSP. For that process, I would recommend that you start the application early because we usually close it by March. So right now, there wouldn't be any scholarships available. We also do merit-based scholarships that are based on a challenge. So we'll also make sure that we keep sending you updates over email about any scholarships that become available for the coming year. Then I can see a next question. If I do not receive a confirmation email regarding my registration for Ashoka YSP, may I know whether the absence of a confirmation should be interpreted as a non-selection/rejection? So if you've not received a confirmation email even at the registration stage, that would be a bit strange because usually once you've made the payment for your form, you will get a confirmation about your registration, but you won't get an email about your selection. We've also emailed out to everyone who had applied to YSP towards the end who hasn't been able to make it to the cohort. So you would have your answer in your email box.
Uh, so,
Sorry, I think someone was trying to speak.
Yeah, Tina, I think, was
Yeah,
trying to.
right. So my question is like, if I have not received the confirmation yet, is it still, should I be waiting for it, or that is something you have already closed
Tina,
the confirmation?
maybe ask when you made the application,
Oh,
when you completed.
it's been already 20 days prior, a month, I believe. I have done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you written to us?
I have endless mails, I've been doing it since the time, I have already received that they have received all the documents from my end, and I have received only the mail till then. Afterwards, I've been keeping a following up, I am following up with, by all the mails, but then I haven't received any mail yet.
Tina, may I ask you to send me your email ID, please?
Sure, I will.
Yeah. Thank you. I think Anjali had a question. I
Yeah,
saw
she
her raise
mentioned
it.
it earlier.
Yeah.
Anjali, please go ahead. Anjali, if you'd like to unmute yourself. Oh,
Yes, am I audible?
yes.
Yeah, just one quick question. I'm interested in economics and finance, this thing course, which is, I assume, are on weekends on 2 months, either on May edition or a June edition. I want to understand if we have missed a chance for YSP program and we are going for Horizon program, what is the actual difference that it will make when I am updating it in my child's portfolio? Because see, attending an online program and attending a YSP program in campus will be they're both very different from each other. So what are the advantages of attending online and what can be the disadvantage? I want to understand both.
Thank you, Anjali, for asking one of the best questions that you could have asked. This is something that I love talking about. For context, I work on program development for Horizons Achievers program, so I am very familiar with the anxieties we have about online education, how impactful can it be, and what difference does it really make to the portfolio. So one of the bigger differences that comes into place when it comes to HAP versus YSP is that with Horizons, you're actually diving deep into a particular subject. So for example, let's assume that I am a student who is very interested in economics and I want to become a future economist. And I want to build my portfolio to be so that I can actually showcase that I've been interested in this since grade 9. I have been putting my extra efforts into it. So some of the options that I may have are doing maybe Olympiads, going out of my way to score better in them. But another thing that you can actually do is experience university level pedagogy with HAP and showcase that interest in that particular subject. So something that we've really heard a lot from HAP alumni is that it kind of strengthened their conviction for that particular subject that they tested out, or it gave them clarity that this is one aspect that I really want to get into.
How long has this program been working for? I mean, how many years this program is running, the online program?
It's been running since 2023. So we started in the winter of
2023.
2023. We've had multiple cycles. They happen over the
Hmm.
summer and winter as well. So it's an all
How
year.
many how many students are there in one cohort?
We have smaller cohorts in Horizons Achievers program because we do want to have personalized interaction with the faculty and TF. I unfortunately can't give you exact numbers, but at the most, we usually go towards 35 to 40. We don't want to go
Okay.
towards like usual class number sizes because then that can become really difficult to manage online.
So is this program throughout the year? If I'm like not able to take in summers, I'll be able to take in winters. My son is in grade
Uh,
11.
so there are some offerings that we end up having in the winter, but they end up being usually different from the offerings in summer. For example, if you take an econometrics course in this
Hmm.
summer, we may not
Hmm.
offer econometrics in winter. We might offer writing
Hmm.
and communication-based courses. So the
All
catalog
right.
keeps getting updated.
All right. So basically, see, I'll be honest. My only concern right now is my son is in 11th, and when he goes to grade 12, and I do not want to send my child abroad because somehow I feel the Indian studies are much better than going abroad after 12th grade specifically. So, will it be useful in universities in India? Because I'm just wondering, ki it is you when you build a portfolio, it's mostly useful when a child is going abroad after 12th.
I'm going to try to answer this question very quickly. So,
Yeah, sure.
is your son interested in applying to Ashoka or Flame or Kriya or
Oh
Plaksha?
yes. Yeah, oh yes, he's like addicted to all these universities. Somehow he has some fascination towards these private universities for I don't know these Gen Z kids.
I'm not going to say much on that, considering that
Yes.
if I'm part of
Yes.
Ashoka. But the reason why I asked this question is that I didn't want to imply that this kind of portfolio building is only helpful for Ashoka, but it's actually helpful
Yes.
for all colleges that are doing holistic application evaluations, because then
Hmm.
they're not just looking at the numbers or the acceptance or the entrance test scores, they're also looking at the
Hmm.
profile that the student has built for themselves.
After grade 11, I mean, not after doing this course from your university, this online program, after that, do you leave the child altogether or you provide something else extra, any benefits or maybe any mentorship or any programs? I mean, how will this help after 2 days when my son is already done with this economics and finance course?
So, firstly, it won't be 2 days only. It's going to be 1 month. They're having two
Okay,
days
all right.
sessions across the week. And
Oh,
most
okay, okay.
importantly, post that, after that 1 month long engagement, because they're also engaging with us over the weekdays, not just weekends. Weekend
Okay, okay,
sessions are the
okay.
live learning sessions, but post that, they actually have the chance to become an ambassador. And we also keep engaging with our alumni so that they can get to know about how to
Hmm.
write college application essays and other workshops
Yeah.
that we have in place for them.
So it's going to be weekends for month and also weekdays. Are the timings mentioned specifically in the catalog? I have
Yes.
not
Yeah.
read the flyer actually completely.
Yeah, so we do have the timings mentioned in the catalog and our website. On the weekends, it's going to be 11 to 1 on Saturdays and Sundays. On the
Hmm.
weekdays, it would be on the basis of the child's availability because these are
Oh,
one-on-one
okay.
sessions with the teaching fellow.
Oh, all right. Okay, great. Thanks for the time. I mean,
Isha,
I'm grateful. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
we have one
A lot
question.
of questions. Yeah,
on the cost of the Horizons Achievers program courses.
that's a very good question. So the cost of Horizons Achievers program is 25,000 plus GST. Um, Next, I did see Nishtha like with her hand raised for a long time. So if you want to go next.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the scholarship thing for like the Horizons program. I'm really sorry, I just did not quite catch what you were trying to say before.
So for scholarships, we had a process in place, but it closed down in March. So we don't have scholarships open right now.
Okay, so is there like a winter edition also for Horizons program?
We'll have clarity on that post the summer, so we can't really comment on when the next edition would be. But in case you're interested in any of the courses, please feel free to go to our website and click on the register interest form. That helps us in deciding what the next catalog can look like.
Okay, and also like, is there any availability for like merit-based scholarship like still for the Horizons program?
We don't have scholarships available now at all because we're very
Okay,
close to
like
the start of the program, so I'm
anytime.
really sorry.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Thank you.
No worries. Yes, Sanvika, I know you've been waiting for a
No,
long
no.
time.
Hi, hi, hi. Okay, I just wanted to ask, I'm Sanvika's mother. My daughter's in class 9. So I just wanted to ask one thing for this, the summer program for with the one where I'm sorry, I missed the beginning part of your webinar. The one where they have to go and attend the program. Is class 9 too early, realistically? Like, how many students of class 9 actually come?
Are we talking about the campus-based program?
Yes,
Young
yes,
Scholars
I'm
program?
talking. Yes.
So again, we're not at liberty to give out exact numbers, usually because of student privacy and cohort quality details.
Okay.
But if I were to give you a percentage, it actually ranges around a good 20 to 25%. And
Okay.
if you look at the cohort size number, that's not going to be like 20 to 25 students. It's going to be in hundreds that the number is. So
Okay.
actually, grade 9 students end up having a lot of fun at YSP because then they get an early start into being introduced to new concepts and ideas.
Right. And so for like just for my personal knowledge, like will the grade 9 and grade 10 and grade 11 students, is it like a complete, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm asking very simple questions, but are they like different levels of this program for these three, or is it like, um, you know, because obviously the understanding of a class 9 and class 10 is going to be completely different.
I'm actually going to answer this question keeping all of our programs in mind.
Right.
So, when we decided to design programs like Young Scholars Program, Horizons, or the Learning Sprints, we wanted to keep in mind that each learner's journey is going to be different because of their grade levels. So, precisely, we try to come up with topics that we are covering that actually keep them at an equal footing. A grade 12 student may have greater advantage in the sense of that they have some understanding of the basic concepts, but we start from the basics itself so that a grade 9 student can understand as well. You'd actually be surprised to know that on Horizons, we've actually had grade 9 students who have gotten letters of acknowledgement and achievement as compared to grade 12 students as well. So while they're studying in the same classroom, they're actually able to compete at the same level as well.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, no worries. I can see that there are a couple of questions and concerns around the YSB application. Since we are really close to the end of this webinar, I am going to redirect them to one, the webinar that we have for YSB upcoming this weekend, two, to our email box. Please be patient. We have a lot of worried students and parents reaching out to us right now. We're doing our best to respond to all of your queries. Tina will make sure that we follow up on your case and revert back to you as well, especially if you've been reaching out to us multiple times. So
Thank
please
you so
worry
much.
not.
Thank you for the consideration.
And now I wanted to actually ask if we have Sanjana with us here, because I think I've been speaking about the program and its impact for the longest time, but I did want to have her share what her experience was like. So to introduce Sanjana, I think it's going to be a long introduction, so I'm going to try to go really fast. Sanjana was someone who did the Psychology Neuroscience of Wellbeing program with us last summer. And post that, she decided to become an HSP ambassador. So this actually answers one of the questions about, do we really leave the students after they do the programs? So clearly we don't like to leave them. We're very sticky as people. We want to keep engaging with our alumni. And if they want to engage with us as equally as well, then we hire them on as ambassadors. This is a voluntary position where ambassadors, up to 87 people, came together and they worked on projects together and built things together. Now I'm gonna just ask Sanjana to share what her experience was like with Horizons Achievers program, and how did online learning really feel? Did it feel like it was lacking something?
Thank you so much, Isha ma'am. So I honestly loved the experience so much. So when I started Horizons as a way to build my profile for college because I'm currently going to enter college. And I had nothing to do the summer, so that's why I started it. And I've done similar courses before, and I haven't had such a great experience. Like, they don't really care about what you do with your time. If you just like pay the money, that's all they really care about. So I didn't have that high expectations for Horizons. But then when I joined, like literally in the first class, I was so stunned by how much they actually cared. I before classes started, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks before, only we started getting all the emails, like even between different courses. So I was in the psychology course, so there was like bonding sessions between courses, like in the finance course, the computer science course. We had all of that. There was a talent night. So they really care about your engagement, about your participation. They ensure that you learn everything you're doing. So there's something called office hours. So if you have doubts after the course, you can contact the teaching fellow, and they set up office hours where you can clear doubts. So I literally had, because it's very advanced material. So to help me get through it, I set up office hours with my teaching fellow, and she was so helpful about it that even after the course ended, I still kept reaching out to her about other doubts I had in psychology and about college applications and everything. So they're very helpful. They're always there for you. And again, after I did the course, I became an ambassador, and I'm currently an ambassador, and it's been such a wholesome experience. So along with doing the course, me and my group, we did our capstone project, and because it was the best in class, we got an extended learning opportunity. So we had like about 4 sessions separately other than the course, where we learned about research techniques and ethics in psychology. So there's also, after the course ends, there's a lot more to it. And I really think the entire course added to my college applications, because I applied to Kriya, Flames, Ashoka, and OP Jindal, and I got into all of them. And I think a huge part, like HAP, played a huge part in my profile. And it teaches you a lot. So, regardless of what course you do, it helps build your logical reasoning, your critical thinking. It forced me out of my comfort zone to go and interact with people. And because it's offline, you really have to text them first. You can't like build the connection you get IRL. So there was that. And I made a really good group of friends. So yeah, I had an amazing time.
Thank you so much, Sanjana, for sharing your experience, and congratulations on all of those acceptances. I think then a difficult decision is your way. And hopefully we'll see you on a Ashoka campus, but I'm not going to try to find that out right now. With this, I do want to open the floor up for any last questions. We have 2 minutes and we'd be happy to entertain them. And it'd be really, really helpful if they're not about YSP registration, because unfortunately, we're not qualified to answer them right now. But trust me, we're looking forward to answering all of the queries on the email box. But if anyone has any questions for Sanjana as well, because she's someone who's actually experienced the program. So in case you don't believe my word about what HAP can do, you can actually listen to it from her. Yes, Dr. Roli, go ahead.
I just wanted to quickly ask Sanjana, first of all, very articulate, so nice to hear a child speak so well. But my question was, so you took the HAP right after grade 11? Is that when you took the course?
Yes, I took it after 11th, before entering 12th grade.
Got it. Thank you, Sanjana.
And Sanjana's cohort did have students that were coming in from grade 8 to grade 9, because we actually end up having students entering grades 9 to 12. So someone who's just completed grade 8 can also be present there. And I know that it seems unreal that they would be able to keep up, but they actually end up having even more ideas. One of the things that faculty members have often highlighted is that they are able to come up with more curious questions, and they really enjoy being able to teach high schoolers than as compared to college students as they do throughout the year.
Very
I think
astute of you, Isha. That was actually my intent. I was trying to assess my child who is going into grade 10. Is this the right time for HAP? Because it sounds like a lot of intensity, the capstone, and the academic pressure is also on. So I was wondering if I should be timing it now or the next year.
So I would actually recommend doing it early on simply because
Okay.
then you have more years to be able to try out other courses.
All
Because one
right.
of the trajectories that I've noticed with some of the students who have done HAP is that they would do a biosciences course in 2023 and then go on to do it in 24 as well because we keep updating the curriculum. And there's a lot of support along the way as well. So if they're going to do high intensity work like the capstone project, we also make sure that they're getting high intensity support from the teaching fellow, which is unending in nature, so that they can actually get to the finish line.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
I also see a question about whether it's okay to apply to these programs while being in grade 12 summer, going off to college. Yes, it's perfectly fine as long as you're not in college currently, you can do these programs. So if you've taken a drop year as well, you can join in for these programs as well. All right, I think we might be able to keep up with our reputation of being on time if we don't have any other questions in the pipeline. I know we've given a lot of information to you today, but I hope it's been helpful in figuring out your summer plans. If you want to join us online, Horizons Achievers program is the way to go. But I would really recommend, especially people who are in and around Kolkata and Chennai, to do the day scholar mode. They have a fantastic faculty lineup, and I think in-person interaction with them is going to be really great. It has the best of both with YSP and HAP, where it gets the capstone project and also the in-person interaction. We look forward to receiving your queries post this webinar and also to seeing some of your kids in our cohort this summer as well. And some of the students who have joined us, I hope you've had a good time hearing from Sanjana and this has helped you in figuring out what you'd like to do next for this summer. Thank you, everyone. Please have a lovely evening. Thank you for taking out the time to join us today.